Emra court Emma ruling area in tempa ena Godfred Dame ebetron krata beto Ghana fu enim se oko Supreme Court na wakwa appeal se atofo na yeja ni mu no enye ne de because atofo wa bokro no na owo evidence bebre a o trese atofo na bokro no na question na me bi say I don't understand what Godfred Dame is saying because sansem ni na no or their court ama court ejina so ama court abo asem legu ndi so obetre Ghana for na wo tre nsem wini so ane ene ato forcing ambulance no ye ni sei ena nke ni kwan so wotua ena okokotia ni sa nyama wakwa ka wo court abo egu afi obeka tre Ghana for se enje den but see the Supreme Court na Supreme Court now see the kono Sammy Gyamfi who is also a lawyer ababonte ababe counter eye Godfred Dame na yenken kan ye hwe Sammy Gyamfi nsem a oka ede ema eye Godfred Dame on ne appeal no eho. Now Sammy Gyamfi say response to the ludicrous arguments made by crooked Godfred Dame in his press release of 30th July 2024 after his frivolous case against Honorable Atoforsen was thrown out by the Court of Appeal. As one, assuming without admitting that the vehicles, ambulances, were imported into the country in violation of the contract governing the transaction as claimed by crooked Godfred Dame, that will simply be a civil matter between the parties to the contract, which will have to be resolved in line with the dispute resolution clause of the contract. In this case, arbitration. Arbitration. How does a breach of contract, even if true, constitute a crime? Now, Godfred Dame evidence I work as a evidence etia a year atofos, you know. One of the evidence and they say a breach of contract in the sense in somewhere a core contract ni muno enye no en atofos in ediso. Ena Sammy Gyamfi catch and say atofos in endi contract ne kraswa. Contract na wo sign ye no. Omo were part of the contract via wo ka say will be endi contract ne so a say ni ebedi asem no near the resolution of the matter ye den aba. E wo contract no mo sign ni mu. It is a atofos in the contract ne kraswa. E was say a contract ne so ni ekohu de contract ne kan say send ye be solve issue no. Ni e fa sa kwan ne so ne solve issue. Na nya criminal case. A civil case. Because obi in the contract so a civil. You ever say Melodies may sign a contract ni obi or say partnership and I was sponsor me platform me. Ne sign a contract. Na me yin obi ebi onu na when this one na me mean this one. A civil case, you take the person on. Now the bakuna then akọ court. And now however you want to mobile send a mobile tenasi aka no, mo tenasi aka. Inti de Godfred Dame kan say ye no kwari mpo. Ono Sammy Gyamfi some kan say ye no kwari mpo. Say de Godfred Dame de atu dwa sa na etia. Enye asem say ye chi ni pakuna tum, ye resolve issue no. That is the first point I work on. I say in any case, neither Atoforsen nor the Ministry of Finance was party to the said ambulance contract. The parties were Big C and Ministry of Health. Under the contract, the Ministry of Finance only had a duty to establish LCs for the ambulances, which Atoforsen did on the instructions and authority of his boss, Honorable Setekpe. Setekpe himself has admitted this fact under oath in open courts. And you see, this is the problem Obi to say Kennedy Japan he has with Godfred Dame. Because Mokaya Kennedy Japan some more kind or see or no dear. Godfred Dame adia wo ye or no sa atofos in case ya ye deno echo court no Kennedy Japan on faso. And this is exactly the point Kennedy Japan raised. Or say Atoforsen or your deputy minister. Deal nekrano. Enye between Atoforsen and the Big C. Enye between Ministry of Health. Any Mr. Jakpa company no. But finance ministry no. Ono ne diane say. Ono na wokita Ghana fosika. It is a Ministry of Sports. Ministry of Ono Godfred Dame ministry nekrano. And a Ministry of Health. Say president kre here sika. It passes through the finance ministry. It is a sports minister episode signing deal la. I was so trying to finance minister. Na finance minister releases sikamano. Into a Ministry of Health. Any Mr. Jakpa case ana ene Mr. Jakpa ena omwenya contract ena e was say finance minister e release sika na saa time no se tekpe emso onya available into the deputy Godfred ato forcing ena wo ho ena se tekpe edi ni tumi ema ato forcing say mama otumi no sign the deal no eno sign ye into ato forcing e bonia wo ye ya na se wa sign the deal no asem ne bae na nka asem bi problem bi awo ho a problem no eye between Minister of Health no ene sa company na nka to force de ono mpo de ne ho enim ne boss na aka te ne se one sign ema ne boss se tekpe aba court aba beka atre court openly say oh ato forcing ade ne de me na me ni ho ena me ma ne to me say one sign me na nka o say me sign de ba na me ni ho na me ma ne to me say onye den on sign nti ato forcing de me na me ma ne sign ye inti Godfred ami case ya ene ato forcing ya kromfo ene wo yese no obi anti ase se inti na mahama babo nti be ka se we eye personal ase eye politics ase eye personal ntokwa ye hu ne se ato forcing no expose kenofo ya tadodo inti yenye ne enchi ntum inti na mahama babo nti ya wo be ka se we eye political persecution inti Sammy Gyamfi intre mu a wode ba no I say, how then does any breach of the said contract by the supplier, Big C of Ministry of Health, if any, constitute a crime on the part of Ato Forcing, who was not a party to the contract? Complete nonsense. Me say, an intern Kennedy Japan was you know the case we on Faso. Kennedy Japan, he said it on no platform on Man FM. Say one for case we did now kind of that time the late the Abrante na no hosti boiling point or Man FM papa no the way we no aha that time now challenge Kennedy Japan say can say bia who nim fact na Kennedy Japan ga den say dabi minim fact no and you see Kennedy Japan was saying so because so nim say ye nim na MPP for Emma Godfred Dame Ato Forcing ye chinitum over this issue MPP for Tibet because omo ahwe ni ye a omo nso MPP for deals be a one communim ho he finance ministry ni just release sika ema ye koye deal no NDC for bo meche MPP for a na komo so asem na emfa omo ho atum. That is why Ken Japan was speaking against it. 2. Osi Sherry Aite's letter cautioning against the importation of the ambulances was simply on grounds of government financial constraint to honor its contractual obligations under the contract and not any sound legal reasons. Big C threatened to sue government if it proceeded to resile from the contract. The Attorney General wrote a legal opinion dismissing Sherry Aite's letter and indicated that the state will not be able to mount any defense in case of legal suits by Big C. The Attorney General then directed in a legally binding legal opinion for the contract to be performed or the matter settled to avert a judgment debt to the state. Utie Godfred Dame semo de betu ja another evidence awo wotia Ato Forcing ne say that time na Minister of Health a yefe ne Sherry Aite etron krata waka say ambulance ne kra na mayen konkotobium. Godfred Dame semo awo ka no. Sammy Gyamfi semo ka ne say no kware. Sherry Aite nin semo awo kan no yes no say ambulance the mayen konkotobium. Die ntia na onu susu say sikasem. But enokra no Attorney General are not so that time NDC time no actual letter Emma Minister Sherry Aite say hey yes ro ye ni nkrofo ya sign contract de da say last minute ye be ka say my man nkrofo infa ambulance name ba bioma e wo say ye tua judgment debt itina akwa ye say ye su hu say ye ni sika ye de be kwa akoto ambulance na so ye be ba be tua judgment debt ambulance they can yenya now so who sikana na betua man crofo because any omo sign a contract and indeed it was true. And so the Attorney General was saying say any omo sign a contract if we pull out today ni ekọ na omo koma yen judgment debt ni case bi ametumi defend ya ban no nti either say ye betua ni yaje ambulance no saa ana say still ye betua na so yenya ambulance bi ana chese Ghana ye beboka. Inti sikana ye claim say ye ni sikana ye claim say ye ni no ye betia that same sika Meanwhile, we will not get the ambulance. And in the Attorney General no ebo minister no letter eguye. Inti ene se Godfred Dame beka se evidence a wo tia ato forcing. Ene se sa time the minister natural letter no say ambulance ne kra ne yempe bioma. Eno no enye se bia no say ambulance ne ebone. Eye sika seminti sa time no man no ye sika sem insenseminti. Inti ana na wo ka se ade ne kra no hwe ye sika sem a ambulance ne kra na se ye ntwentwen so. Inti enye se ebone bia so. Sammy Gyamfi sem a wo ka no. Dame's constant reference to that Shari'ite letter is therefore useless and of no moment. The Ministry of Finance had a duty to establish the LCs under the agreement. The Attorney General directed them to perform the contract to avert a judgment debt. Subsequently, the Ministry of Finance did not need any request of authorization from Ministry of Health before it proceeded to perform its obligation under the contract as directed by the Attorney General. It is that an Attorney General no a directing Ministry of Finance ne say koso na ye letter of credit no na letter of credit ne be nam so ama yetua nkrofo no ntakwa say wono Godfred Dame na nkasa wa go ahead ama minister bi ekwan say oh mahwe wo contract mu ne obi bia mu ehu say boni bi anim nti kona kokotua nipa kro no na ukokotua nipa ko ni wie ya ye say ye be chi watum da bi Attorney General na wo ye o lawyer no o ma kwan nti say ato force sorry ya na o take decision. He was cleared. The contract was cleared by the then lawyer. Mama Aja says Attorney General a lawyer for the country. By the then lawyer of the country, a Attorney General. It was say Ato Forcing signed a letter requesting the LCs to be established in favor of Big C for the Minister of Finance. The Minister of Finance was duly copied and has admitted in court that indeed he authorized Ato Forcing to write that letter. Then again, Ato Forcing signed a letter no Emma minister no setekpe aba court about betrayal say ono no ma Ato Forcing kwan say one signing nkrata no. It clearly no one case no so what case na se ne yetrechire mu atrewa obeti ase de ntia appeals court e ka say masa mbo asem ningu na asem we de say nyansa sem bi anim. Strangely, crooked Godfred Dame says that until Setekpe produces a document to show that he indeed authorized Ato Forcing, he won't believe it. Is it mandatory for a minister to delegate or assign work to his deputy only in writing? Imagine this infantile nonsense. Into Godfred Dame someone can say, Ane, Ato okay, say Setekpe ekatre Ato Forcing say or non sign contract na. In krata ben and the war was Setekpe betumi the address say or no na oma Ato Forcing kwan say I don't say na say we dey enkwala asem na wudi. What be that? Minister and the deputy. Na minister na ma deputy ne kwan say on krata we me minister na o say me sign ba me ni ho nti o deputy sign in my name. O say na nke o say minister ne tron krata to ho no tre say wono na wa ma deputy ne kwan say on sign. But you see the interestingly one, the minister is the only person who has a stamp and a seal. Obia wo nim sa de bia nim say minister bia no they have their own seal. And it is the minister who only uses it. Inti se okohu ne say deputy minister bi use minister ni seal la. Indirectly what it means and say deputy minister no minister no and the seal na ma deputy minister ne say on use. Osha Ato Forcing Indiana, that's the same thing. And so even though Setekpe, and it's, I mean, I've not heard it before. Say, minister man and deputy assigning we be na minister na tron krata say, me na ma penis so say deputy. It doesn't even happen. Because they all know say once the deputy uses the seal, it is the minister who has authorized. And in this case, yes, Ato Forcing used the seal, which shows that Setekpe and the man can so on signing. That's it. And so say, the term sheet of the Stanbic facility that was originally intended to fund the procurement of ambulances was approved by Parliament in line with Article 181 of the Constitution. Until the Waterville Isophoton cases were determined by the Supreme Court, Parliament used to only approve financial agreements and not the accompanying commercial contracts. In any case, how does the lack of parliamentary approval for a commercial contract between the Ministry of Health and Big C constitute a crime on the part of Ato Forcing, who at all material times was the Deputy Minister of Finance? Under what law does this constitute a crime? arrant nonsense. Another thing that Godfred Damiso can say, deal no, like I say parliament I approve it. And as Sammy Gyamfi say no problem. Say parliament approve deal ne krana. Say parliament approve. Say parliament approve deal ne krana. The deal originally is between the Ministry of Health and Big C. Inti ato forcing no ne ho be mu saying. Una say parliament approve deal. Deal na between one and one. Between the Ministry of Health and the Big C. It is a parliamentary approve. Go and attack the Ministry of Health. Ato force na wono ye deputy minister for finance no. Ono na sem ne sen e wa sem we mu. A wo de no e ba be for it. Ati asem ni na say. I see, the vehicles that were shipped into the country were never handed over to government. The medical equipment were shipped differently and had to be cleared from the port by the Ministry of Health, installed by Big C in the vehicles, and officials of NAS trained on how to operate same before handover. Thus, the vehicles were not finished products and were certainly not intended to be used as ambulances until they had been fully converted into ambulances and handed over to the state. Another thing MPP4 Ede can say, the entire person yechi atufo synkratum ne say omoka say ambulance na car ne kra na bae no na nhye da anye ambulance a. Eno omoka say sebe obi eni ho a wo ye ambulance. Company bi eni ho a omo ye ambulance. Dia oye ne say obekwa akoto Benz car na wato equipment no aba okuro ne so. Ne yama enkrofo aba be hihye equipment no e wo car nim na afi adane ambulance. Inti embra car ne ba bedu yes a time no na eye car aba bedu. Inti ukoko biem na ukoka se na dia yes ambulance na emu ayehwe a enye sa neti contract ne nkrofo ne ka se wo mo ship car ne ba omo san so be ship medical equipment ne so aba de ye de be shim na mana da ne ambulance fully no. Inti se one twen ne ya nye no na afi wakwa ko bie kan nim se ye ka se ye expect ambulance na car ya be de nye ambulance dia na twese na wakwa akopre ho. MPP for ade omo ye no. And indeed, later, equipment ne buy no, MPP for clear equipment in the kokosie. Equipment no, ana ke de be check anim na dane fully ambulance no. MPP buy no na MPP wa ba mu, omo clear equipment no e de akwa akosie. In any case, the Ministry of Health, under the leadership of Honorable Alex Segbefia, engaged in negotiations with Big C and amicably resolved all the defects government raised with the vehicles. It was this basis that Big C shipped the necessary medical equipment that had to be installed in the ambulances to Temaport in October 2016. The MPP government cleared these medical equipment, but has till date failed to notify Big C to come and install them in the ambulances. Today, the medical accessories shipped by Big C is nowhere to be found. How can the very government that has engaged in this gross and criminal negligence turn around to blame anyone for causing financial loss to the state? If the defects were irremediable, as claimed by crooked Godfred, why then did government sign an agreement with Big C for same to be remediated? I say, in any case, what was the nature of the said defect? PW1, the head of NAS, claimed in his testimony that the said defects were in nature of wrong spellings, inability of some drawers in the vehicles to close on their own, stickers not properly fixed to the vehicles, etc. Absence of medical equipment, which were later shipped by Big C. Are these the irremediable defects crooked Dame is talking about? Inti problem a buyer MPP for say cast there buy and a problem or problem you say one cast no wrong spellings in the sense ebia ambulance ne was say spell e wo kan ne ho no yan spelling ye we ya semuntia enunti yesi ye chi obi atum say ya tro ebia spellings ya tro ambulance na ambulance no ebia yi na ewo ambulance ne ho no yi yamfa yi amba enu hunti yesi kan no entumi nya adwuma kan ne nsem fata say ye ambulance yi keke ayan tro wo ho ana spelling no say yan spelling ye Another problem MPP for kind of ambulance there by and fit for purpose and fit for purpose and then fit for purpose. You see inability of some drawers in the vehicles to close on their own. Say on the ambulance no drawer na drawers no I say into me emu to me ntumu ye. Ejawajo. You see problem man. Stickers not properly fixed to the, not properly fixed to the vehicles. Ambulance no stickers be a tale ho. Yen fa sticker nen tale ho. Ye sticker na ye de tale ho na achia. Amama kai na say obi betina me kam say na sebe o even say o insurance any o roadworthy no one de tale ma o ni na achia. If I couldn't say more catch me no. That is enu hunti aban say enu hunti ambulance need to me nyejuma because stickers be a tale car ne ho no achia. And then another issue, the medical equipment, no. Omo say company ne say your contract ne say the cast ne beba. Ni ya sanso aship medical equipment na ba. Ni ya ba be fixe. Inti kan ne ba be do Ghana no. Ni kwan say Ghana for modem nsaka. Until say ye be fixe equipment no wom. The equipment ne ba ya MPP from the akwa akosie allegedly. Inti nsem no ni na o. Any for those who don't understand the ambulance case no. And then Sammy Gyamfi o trim. I say, are these the irremediable defects Crooked Dummy is talking about? Because that means someone kind, you know. I say ambulance, then send by, you know, ambulance, the cars, no, say, and ya cry, and no, cars, and cars, I walk, say, and ya cry, no, in some nini. I say, clearly, Godfred Dummy has been dazed by his disgraceful defeat in the Court of Appeal by Atoforsen. Hence, the attempt to smear the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal has resolved that Crooked Godfred Dummy could not establish a prima facie case for Atoforsen and Yakpa to answer, which hands Yamutu. Crybaby Godfred Dummy can run to the unanimous FC for all we care. Ghanaians are discerning. Ghanaians now know him for who he truly is, a local fixed match merchant. Sammy Gyamfi akasa see Godfred Dummy obi to me aduane akọ unanimous FC for all we care. Ghana fo ehu no. Or here the Ghana for who no. Won't try comment box ni mo. Medasi.